That's what they say.
Hard work,
Hard work, I earn my pay.
hard work,
Hard work, do it every day.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode, another podcast of Snipes Castle. We got Snipes Castle live. We got another interview of one of our shipmates. Joining me again is Hurst Terrell, Chief Petty Officer, retired. All right, and again, I'm D. LaMonica, retired Senior Chief. And how you doing today, there, Hirsch?
Oh, good. Can't complain. Another Sunday.
Another Sunday, yeah, another Sunday after Thanksgiving. You eat real good? Stuff
Oh, yeah,
yourself, like they want you to stuff yourself, go to the stores, buy all that food, and you know,
Just keep the program going.
keep the program going. Everybody all programmed, right? Yeah, it was real good Thanksgiving. One of the things I want to let people know is I want to tell people why I do this. All right, why I do this. You know, I know there's somebody out there, Hirsch, that you would like, just to sit down and talk with. Maybe somebody you admire, maybe somebody a hero of yours. You just sit down and talk with them, see what they all about. You ever thought about that? Who would I like to sit down and talk with?
Yeah, you get a lot of perspective and feedback and like vision.
Yeah. So, why I do this is because I think I mentioned this before, is my son said, "Hey Dad, who's your favorite hero? Who's your favorite comic book hero?" And I was like, "Well, my favorite hero is Batman, because Batman don't care. Batman is smart and he don't got no superpowers and he be whipping people, and he just keep going and he keep going, and that's why I like Batman." But I told him, I was like, "Now that's fictional. Real life, all right, my heroes," and I show him a picture of, my shipmates. I was like, "These are the people I admire right here." And that's why I do this, to sit down and talk with them and get them a perspective, what they was thinking. I know we served together, but I just want to sit down, get with thinking, hey, you was a good guy, senior chief, or no, I really hated you. I want to get them, get to know them. We served together, but I want to get them and I want to record them, because these are the people who I serve with and who we admire. These people, these shipmates we go out to sea with, possibility of getting shot up, blown up. These the people we pass by every day. It's just like a regular job to us, but you got to face it. We be in some dangerous situations and we don't even think about it, because this is like a regular job. But this is why I do this, because the shipmates out there, these are my heroes, and these are the people I interview who want to talk with. And today, Hirsch, we got another one of those heroes of mine. He checked on board, and I just want to give everybody a little snippet of what we gonna talk about today. All right, Brand. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Right here. And they go right there at MP Division quarters right there. And that's what we talking about today. We talking about that cat right there, GSCS. And I didn't even know, I was thinking he was still in, man. My time clock is all screwed up going first. But that's what we talking about right there, this guy right here. So let me give him a proper introduction. All right. All right. This leader checked on board USS Forrest Sherman DDG 98 as a first-class petty officer at a time when we were hurting for first-class leadership in the engine room. I looked down at him when he checked on board, and he said he was ready to go. Where you need me? And was he ever ready to go? After he checked in and settled in, I never had to worry about the engine room ever again. He garnered so much respect from the sailors. They did whatever he told them with a smile. He brought greater teamwork and unity to MP Division, along with his counterpart, GSM1 Miller, shout out to Miller, to the point that left a gap that couldn't be matched after he made Chief Petty Officer and departed, which really pissed me off, because now I had to go back to work now. Seriously, when he left, it was like, oh my God. we hurt now. Give it up for the one, the only Senior Chief Gas Turbine Technician, Surface Warfare, John Nickerson. Yeah, get John Nickerson. Yeah. Look at him now.
What's going on, brother?
Oh, man. Boy, I tell you,
There we go. There we
like
go.
it was like
What's going
night
on?
and day when you and Miller left. Oh my God, man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
I felt
God.
so bad for you, brother. What's going on? What's going on?
What's up, man?
Oh,
Where
you know how it is.
where you originally from?
I'm originally from about 12 miles from where I'm sitting right now. I'm originally from Rochester, New Hampshire. Good
Okay.
old, good old quiet, city up here, but it ain't nothing like Norfolk or Chesapeake. It's about a quarter of that size, if that.
Yeah. Man,
Yep.
Um, now you in New Hampshire. From New
hmm
Hampshire. I think you're the only one I ever know from New Hampshire. You know anybody from New
Uh,
Hampshire? Going?
Not
yeah,
on
I
top of
think
my
I
head.
was.
I don't know anybody from New Hampshire.
But,
You know.
yeah, you do. You know me.
Got one.
So you
It's
sitting in New Hampshire. What made you want to join the Navy?
the funny part of it is this. I listened to your other interviews, and this was the funniest story I think. I was ready to go in the Marines. No BS. I had an appointment to go talk to the Marine recruiter again and sign up. And I was working at the sawmill up here, and I came home on a Friday night with my dad because my dad worked there. Came and there was this Ford Contour SVT lowered rims. I was like, "Yo, who's the drug dealer at my house?" And I rolled in, and there's a Navy chief standing there in uniform with his laptop, ready to talk to me about the Navy. And I was like, "What's going on?" My mom's like, "Look, I'd rather you be on a boat that moves around if you're going to get shot at than sitting on the edge of the world about to die because you ain't got nowhere to go because you're
Your
in
mom's
a
a great
hole."
recruiter. Your
Yeah.
mom's a great recruiter.
so, so he gave me the little laptop deal, and he's chit chatting with my parents and everything. And I did pretty well on the ASVAB. I got, I don't know, 55, 57, something in there. So good enough. And I was like, all right. So I chatted with my parents over the weekend, and then next thing you know, I'm signing up for the Navy, and it was the smarter of the two choices as I see it right now. So yeah, so that's how I ended up joining the Navy. Wasn't originally my plan. I was gonna go be a jarhead.
Jarhead.
Um,
Wow. Be a
I'm glad that I
Marine.
went the other route.
Yeah, that's good.
So you go through the process and you get down to MEPS. Do you remember what jobs they offered you when you got down there?
Man, those guys were so slick and thought they were smarter than any other person.
Of
They
course.
handed me the list. The first one: undesignated seaman, undesignated fireman, HT, MM, GSE, GSM. I mean, I had the whole list of engineering right there, and they were like, "Yep, you can pick any of these. We really want you to be an undesignated fireman. Then you can pick what you want." And I was like,
Hmm.
the door's that way, and I need the code to make a phone call. And he was like, "What?" And I said, "I'm gonna make a this is '98, back in the day when long distance mattered." And I said, "You're gonna let me make a phone call to Charleston, South Carolina?" And he was like, "Why?" At the time, we had friends that were in the Navy,
Yeah.
and his name was Doug Lowe. He was a machinist mate first class and was retired, submariner guy. And I said, "Look, I'm gonna call this guy and ask him what's on this list and what's the best to go with." And he was like, "Oh, I can't do that." I said, "Well, I can't sign myself in anyways. That's why my dad's sitting here. I'm only 17 at the time. We'll just roll." My dad looked at him and shook his head, and he was like, "Oh, well, let me talk to my chief. He's first
You
class."
one
I
of
was
the
like, "All
smart ones.
right." I was like, "Look, I ain't going into this not knowing what's going on." So I made the call to South Carolina, and Doug answered the phone. He was like, "Where the heck are you?" I was like, "Dude, I'm at MEPS right now." and I got this list of jobs to pick from. And he's like, look, you want a bonus? Go GSM. You're going to work in a hot engine room, but you're going to advance well. You're going to have fun. You're going to sweat your balls off, but you're going to have fun. And I was like, all right. He goes, if you go electrician, you're probably going to get shocked a lot. I know you. I was like, all right, let's go the safer route. So that's how I ended up being a GSM. Was literally like we're talking about right here when you did the intro, talking to somebody that you can either get some advice from or has the experience in the Navy. Like it's so important, and people don't realize how much that can affect somebody down the road.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Because you gotten in, you never know what you're getting into when you choose those undesignated rates.
Yeah,
They toss you
so much of them
around.
hop around.
I was like, and me as a recruiter, I would. They got mad at me because I was like, man, do not choose undesignated.
Yep.
They hated me. I was
Yep.
like, man, I don't want you to choose that, man.
Oh yeah, man. You knew that was like a death sentence for the person because
Yeah, man.
you get them and they send them in engineering and they haven't got a clue of what they're doing in engineering. And the next thing you know, you're trying to teach them, what a crescent wrench is. Like, come on now. Like,
Yeah, man.
but
Yeah.
I've had some good ones in my time and I've had some
Question.
ones that need a little extra help.
All right, dang. So you got through MEPS, went through boot camp, of course, Great Lakes.
Yep.
Right. After Great Lakes, was you offered one of these dream sheets and said, hey, where you want to go? East Coast, West Coast, you remember that?
Oh man. So, in Great Lakes, I go through the old pipeline. You get Common Core, Mechanical Core,
Yeah.
then GSA school, which, back then is, death by PowerPoint and textbook.
Yeah.
And you had the what was the FFG side and the DDG side, I think it was
Right.
in the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mando Commando, that was what was put on the back of my class picture. So it was tough for me. I had to do a lot of night study, and man, I barely passed until I actually got physically on the ship and doing the engine stuff and working in the oil lab. Like I'm one of those that I need to touch it, feel it, see how it works internally, externally. And I was last on the list. Caveat to that, we were on the frigate side in that class. So the last place anybody wanted to go to was a frigate.
Yeah.
But I got the frigate, but I had the knowledge ahead of time of how it would operate and everything. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise. So I didn't get a dream sheet because I was dead last in the class. I watched those top 3 guys. They could pick whatever they wanted. They thought they were picking the cream of the crop, and well,
what, man? I remember from A school, usually the guys that were, didn't score so well, those are the guys that were some of the most successful. Those are the most successful dudes, man.
Yeah,
the guys
man.
score real low. Yeah, for real.
It was hard, and I definitely, I grew up with an IEP. English is not my best writing. That's part of why I'm still in college, working on it. But man, trying to go death by PowerPoint and then a textbook, it's the complete opposite of what they got nowadays. But it's not. It's just tough. It's tough.
I bet. So you get stationed on the USS Carr. I'm a USS Halliburton FFG 40. All right. You checked on board. So how was your, time on the Carr?
Oh man. Well, for a lot of us, older generation, as the sun goes away, a lot of us watched the first 72, right? You remember that video in training?
Yeah.
That was me, if not worse. Because when I checked on board the Carr, I got there, they weren't even in port. They were out on an underway. So they didn't have a duty van or anything to bring you to the ship. I got lucky and one of the large deck, one of the carriers was in, and they were picking up like 3 sailors. So he brought me over to TPU and dropped me off there after we got McDonald's, because I was that fireman that was like scraping out the $5 at the Great Lakes Credit Union ATM, because that would issue you a $5 bill to get the 99-cent menu, because we didn't get paid nothing back then.
Yeah.
So literally, I was at TPU for almost a week and a half with nobody, trying to find out where stuff was at. I mean, we were right across the street from the galley. I didn't even know the galley was there because no one showed you where anything was.
Yeah.
So, but I got to the boat and or the ship, and my first class at the time, he picked up chief right after I got there. George Zeus Ferrer, he's one of my heroes. He grabs my bags, takes me down to Central. You know, it's Friday. They just pulled in. I meet the MPA. I meet the Chang. I get introduced to the first class and the second class. And they're like, all right, you're going to be in the engine room, blah, 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 blah. Here's your rack. And they all bounced. You know who showed me around? Yep. He had a red badge. Yep. He was special.
They let the restricted dude. Yeah, that's the old days. They let the restricted dude show you around.
So that was like, it was just bad. But the cool part was there was an engineman fireman that showed at the same time, Williams. He and I both, you know, complete polar opposites, obviously. I'm from the north. He's from like deep South, Alabama, if I remember correctly. And he's Southern bred, like deep. But he started showing me the ways and things that I needed to know, being a guy from up here. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, that boat was one of the best boats I could say.
Man.
It's number 2 to the Forrest Sherman for me.
Yeah.
Because the car, frigate's such a small crew.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's 300 people at max with an air deck, and that's like almost hot racking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a good time on that boat. We pulled into every single port you could find on my first deployment.
Yeah. FFG, man.
Yeah.
For real.
I mean, it stands for Forever Fucking Gone. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, man. Motherfuckers stay underway. They stay underway, man. I'm like, damn. Stay underway, stay unrepping.
Yep. And that was that first deployment was prior to 9/11 for me. And then we had 9/11. We were in the yards. We were pier side with one engine. And I remember the captain coming down like, Chang, we're ready to go, right? And Chang's like, yeah, we're ready to go. And I was like, hi. I got one Bravo torn apart down there, and we're waiting on parts. Do we really want to get underway with one gas turbine and some APUs? This doesn't sound like a smart plan. So, but we didn't get underway, thank God. But so that next deployment, we didn't hit anything. I think we had 2 or 3 beer days out there, and it was almost 9 months. But that crew, that crew was tight. That crew, you learned some stuff that you didn't think you were going to learn about somebody else, but
you knew everybody. Knew everybody on that ship. Topsiders, engineers, everybody mixed together. Everybody hung out together. Just like when I was in a Halliburton. And I never experienced that on a cruiser or destroyer, but FFG, man, that's a tight crew right there, for real.
Yeah, man. Like in engineering, so it was really messed up because from what I hear, everybody else, the engineering berthing was down below, just above was it laundry over there on the starboard side. Well, we had the main deck berthing because the XO right before that I got there was like, look, my engineers are the firefighters. I don't want them to have to go up and down ladders to get to firefighting equipment. They're getting the straight shot. I didn't know this, because I wasn't there yet. I got there and everybody was like, yeah, we're up here, man. We got the best berthing, blah, blah, blah. We got a lounge that's huge.
Yeah, that's the berthing above. Yeah. Yeah.
So we had to share it with air debt and, any overflow. But
great.
And that was the thing. The worst part, though, the frigates, man, you taking a shower with a garden hose. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Get a
man.
little sprayer. That's it.
That's all the
What?
water you getting. Yeah, you
Yeah.
barely know you get water.
Yeah, you get water. Evap's baby working?
Yeah,
Maybe?
yeah,
Yeah.
jeez, man. But yeah, them two, yeah, the frigate, probably one of the best times I ever had with a crew. In
Oh
terms
yeah.
of everybody just being tight. That
Yep.
was an awesome crew. I know
Yeah,
that.
man.
That's why I wanted you share about that frigate experience because I know a lot of people can't experience because they're gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
How long did you serve on the car?
Man. Oh, 5 years.
Ooh,
Because
man.
you remember, the seashore rotation, young GSs, we
Yeah,
doing
man.
5 years.
Yeah,
So
I
I
know.
was like, oh, somebody strangle me.
You feel like
And
you attached to that ship. You ain't never leaving that bad boy.
when I left, I had the most time on board by a year and change compared to everybody else across the entire boat.
Jeez. Yeah, that's a
Like,
long time, man. That's a long time to be one place, one crew, one command. I'm like, gosh, man. It was almost like that when I was on the kid. I was like, man, I'm here for 5 years. The master chief came down there. It's like, man, you the most senior tenured person on here as a
yep,
second class.
yep,
Like what?
yeah, definitely.
But after the car, you know, you went to shore duty and you chose the brig in Charleston. Everybody gets Charleston except for me. I'm from Charleston, and I never get
I
stuff
know,
from
right?
Charleston.
So, so here's the better part, right? So before I get my orders to Charleston, brig, brig, I had orders to the Charleston Nuclear Schoolhouse to run the urinalysis coordinator, be part of that program there, right?
Damn. Why
Yeah.
I don't ever get damn off short Terrell, you ever get
Well,
off his short duty billets
this
like that?
this
Your
gets better.
analysis, goddamn brig
Yeah.
duty.
So, so
Nope.
I'm about
Nope.
I'm about like 25 days away from transferring. I've moved my wife. I've executed the orders. I've moved the wife, got the cats and everybody settled down there, ready to rock and roll. It's only 6 hours from Norfolk. I'll live on the boat. You head down there. We're good to go. Gravy, right?
Mhm.
She's starting the school year. No big deal. Yeah. Message comes in. Hey, dude, we did a remanning of the base in Charleston. Yeah, your orders are canceled. You have to negotiate for new orders.
Wow.
Excuse me? What? What? Typical Navy thing we do.
Yeah.
So I call the recruiter. This is the chief season. And you know me, Daryl.
Mhm.
You know me. So I got NCC select on a frigate. That was crazy to begin with. And he calls the GS chief select at the time for the detailer, and he's like, "Hey, what do you got? What do you got? John can go to over here in Charleston. I got nothing. He's gonna have to go up to Great Lakes and go push boots." It's like the hell I am. Y'all did something wrong. I ain't going to push boots.
That's hers.
He goes down your route, your famous, recruiting.
Ah,
I was like,
Oh,
mm-mm. I said, you guys, I will either A, go back to the schoolhouse, the orders that you had given me originally. You send me somewhere there. I don't care. But I'm not going recruiting and I'm not pushing boots. I already moved my family. I did everything like a sailor is supposed to do ahead of time. And I'll never forget him saying, well, why would you move your family ahead of time? So that I could get to work and check in and work.
yeah.
And my wife could do her job that started in September because she was a teacher. Well, I don't know. Why else would I do that?
Yeah.
Being the good sailor. So finally,
right.
this was an argument back and forth, back and forth. And I said, look, man, you can find me something other than recruiting in Charleston. I don't care what it is. You got 24 hours. And I walked out, hung up the phone. Chief Select looked at me like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going to the captain's cabin right now. And it's a frigate. So it's real small, real quick to get up there.
Yeah.
My chief met me up there like, yo, what's going on? And I was like, I'm using the open door policy and I'm talking to the captain right now. I'm not getting hosed over on this deal. So captain called that chief select detailer And he called 15 minutes later. He's like, I can get you in the brig. I'll release you to another detailer. Deal. So that's how I ended at the brig.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, shore duty, aka skate duty, but I love it. That was a challenge, shore duty. The first year I ran in the units, so watching over 90 plus prisoners with one other, either, because it was joint service, so all branches. So one other guard member, you versus 90 people.
Mm.
Quite intimidating at first.
Yeah.
But once you actually got to know people, and I think one of the things that I always loved about you, D, was that you treated everybody with respect, no matter what. Everybody has a different story.
Yeah.
We got different backgrounds, different things that going on. The only difference between some of us and others was one mistake,
Yeah.
and people ended up there, and some of them made some serious mistakes. Don't get me wrong, and I tried to not know what they were put in for. That way, there
Yeah.
you couldn't judge against it. Like, yep,
Yeah.
you made a mistake, and I'm going to call it that. So that first year, I ran the units, and I'll never forget. It's just like every other movie you see, every show. People joke like, prisoners run this place. They do, in a way, because if you don't think about it, there's 90 of them and 2 of you. They can take you over. It can happen. But I showed up for a night shift, and I was working the Bravo 3 unit, which is usually the people we don't want to talk about very much. They're not violent, but they're people that you don't want to really talk to if you're a parent.
Yeah.
So I check, I get in, get the turnover. The petty officer that was leaving goes, "Hey, here's your folder with your request shit." Request shit? What are you talking about? Well, Prisoner Raymond will talk to you, or Prisoner so and so. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" Next thing I know, I read the shit. It's like, "Hey, respect for the request to go to the carpenter shop as a day job supervisor." Next thing I know, I got the whole group of prisoners up there, like, "Hey, yeah, you're gonna be our supervisor down there." What are you talking about? Your interview's tomorrow morning with Pops. And I mean, Pops is an old pattern maker, retired. His beard probably come down to, belly button almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So they're like, "Yep, we don't respect pretty much any of the other petty officers or corporals, and we don't want any of them down in there. They won't understand how it's going to work." So I was like, "All right." So I went and did the interview. He's like, "Yeah, you're going to start next week. I've already talked to the CDO." I was like, "What the heck's going on here?" So, but I ran the carpenter shop, and I'll tell you what, I treated them just how I wanted to be treated.
Mm-hmm.
Gave them respect. We had to manage tools. They had chisels, they had knives, they had everything for working on wood.
Yeah.
Those paddles that you got in your background, they would do designs like that. All the picture boards that you see throughout the Navy, they would do that stuff.
Wow.
Desks, you name it. So I learned a lot inside there as well. Working side by side with them, they taught me some carpentry stuff. I taught them some other things, about what to do in life when you get out.
Mm-hmm.
Just try to better yourself. And it was good, man. It was awesome. Leaving that place was sad. I broke my tib and fib there,
Oh
playing
God,
disc golf.
Nickerson, man, you be breaking yourself up everywhere
Man,
you go.
dude, it was like the perfect storm too. It was a Sunday morning, and it was me, my wife at the time, my buddy and his wife, and that buddy was a firefighter, first responder, and then our other buddy, he was a prior Marine. And I don't know if anybody's ever played disc golf. I hadn't at the time.
Mm-mm.
Uh, so I'm on hole number like 4 or basket 4, whatever they want to call it. And it started to get competitive. And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this thing. I'm gonna get it." And I spun as hard as I could on the launching, or the teeing off.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a concrete pad, but there was loose dirt all over it.
Yeah.
And I lost my footing and put my foot down, and I went around my foot because it
Ooh.
stayed.
Jeez.
Yeah. And the wife at the time, she was like, "Yo, get up, you big baby." And I was like, I picked up my foot. I'd show you my hand. My other arm's in a sling right now. But my foot like started doing this, and they were like, "Oh, that's not
Oh.
good." So my buddy, the first responder, direct call to the ambulance. Yo, get over here. Hold. Blah blah blah. And so they put me out for a little while because they were trying to, set it loosely without trying to do any crazy stuff because it was Sunday. And I woke up and my senior chief was there. And I was supposed to be on duty that afternoon because we had like 4-hour duties on the weekend if it was your weekend. And he was like, "Were you drinking? I need to know if this was an alcoholic incident." And I was like, "No, I swear to God, I wasn't." He's like, "How the heck?" So yeah, lots of crazy stuff at the brig, but it was good. It was good. There's always something. There's always something.
Yeah, everybody who I ever talked with that went down to Charleston, they always said there was a real good duty down there.
Yeah,
And
man,
like I said, I'm from Charleston, and I never got never.
never
I
get what
was
you
stationed
want.
in Charleston. I got on the Peterson. The Peterson was stationed in Charleston.
Yeah,
When I
the whole
finally got to the
ship.
Peterson, they decommissioned the base, and I had to go back to freaking Norfolk.
Yeah,
Back to V.
It's like,
yeah,
gosh, man, I
man.
can't win. So yeah, you tore. You stayed to the brig 3 years, right? 3 years.
I did about 3.5, honestly, because I broke my leg.
Okay,
Tip and
all right.
fib. So that extended me. They didn't put me on limb due. They just said, hey, we're gonna hold him because he's broken right now until he heals, instead of doing all that crazy paperwork and then shifting me somewhere else. It was actually somebody that made some sense. Not a lot of
Yeah,
them made.
yeah, that's common
and
sense.
and they made it work out. So then I left there and I went to my first DDG. Well, I went to C school en route, and that was in Great Lakes for 4 months. And I'll tell you what, like I said about GSA school, C school was the complete opposite. And God rest his soul, he passed from COVID. But Francisco Barone, probably one of the nicest guys that I have ever met anywhere. He literally said, "Look, you told me about what happened in A school. I'm gonna study with you every single day. We're gonna get you everything you need to know about a DDG because I can tell right now you don't know a damn thing." Which is, it's the truth. I was on a frigate
Yeah.
and then I went to shore duty. So he spent hours on hours every day with me, teaching me about stuff, going through C school notes. And I came out of that C school number 2 in the class. I only had one, what they call a component failure, where you had a section of like three questions, and
Yeah.
you missed one, so you had to retake that component, as they like to call it. Other than that, I would have been the number 1 in the class, and I swear to God, if it wasn't for Francisco, come Frankie, I probably would have been still lost in the class again. Like, ugh. But literally, he spent hours every day studying with me.
So from A school, from the bottom,
Yep.
bottom in A school to
Yep.
number 2 in C school.
Yep.
That's amazing right there.
Yeah,
Shout out
man.
to Francisco Barrera out there, man. Oh man.
Yeah, but
That's me from
man,
COVID. Gosh.
yeah, that hit hard, and he keeps popping up in my Facebook, from memories and, because that summer, dude. First of all, Great Lakes, I went in the winter for boot camp.
Yeah.
You don't do anything. You can't go anywhere but shopping.
Yeah.
Great Lakes in the summer, man. Now that's the place to go.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Nice,
lakes,
warm, lake,
Six Flags. I mean,
everybody.
you
Yeah.
got season passes to Six Flags because it's right there. We went every
Yeah.
weekend after we got the season pass. So, but I left. I left C school, and I went to Japan, and I was on my first destroyer finally, the Mustin DDG 89.
Did you want to go overseas?
Yep, I picked overseas. Um, the wife at the time, she was all about trying to travel and get a
Wow.
little experience.
I wish I had
Little did I know that that was going to be the divorce time frame from that wife. So, but yeah, we went to the Mustin, and man, I'll tell you what, that was a lot of work. It it compared to a frigate in a way. We're fully manned though, but being over forward deployed, you are always out. It seems like you're always underway. You don't make a full deployment, but you go out for like 6 months at a time, 3 to 6 months, depending, and that is a deployment in their schedule.
Wow.
Like the only time you're guaranteed to come back is Christmas and New Year's. That's almost the only time that you're going to get everybody back in the port. So, and then only 2% of the crew can go back stateside.
Oh, yeah. Damn.
So, doing that kind of math over there, trying to get people back and forth, to see families, that's just an added stress.
Yeah.
Living out in town. When I first got there, you had to do a request shit to go home. I can't make that up. Like every night I'd have to send you a request shit. I was a second class when I got there. I made second on the car. So I was second class for a long time.
Yeah.
You get there, second class could live out in town because you get OHA or BAH.
Right.
But you had to put a request like, hey, what are you going to do? I'm going to go home. My Liberty Buddy is my wife. I'm not going to have more than 2 or 3 drinks. Blase, blase. And then that's every day. You had the same email every day coming to you. You just had an inbox of all the request shits.
Wow.
But I had a Chief Fuson at the time, and he was my mentor, sponsor, all the above coming over, which I thought was kind of weird. But I understand it more now because when you're going overseas, there's so much involved that you don't think about as a junior sailor. You probably would forget to pass that on to somebody coming. So, and I begged him. I was like, look, please, Lord, don't put me in the oil lab. I spent almost the whole time on the frigate in an oil lab.
Oh, yeah. Once you're in the oil lab on the frigate, you're there for life. That's why I say old king for life, man.
Yeah.
You're never leaving there.
So I begged him, and he obliged. He put me in Main 2. And I was with a bunch of guys that knew what was going on. They showed me the ropes. Like I told you, Frankie, he showed me everything on paper. Now it was in hands working it. So I could actually know what the heck I'm doing. And it was awesome. Like I said, we were gone all the time, but it was awesome. I would do an overseas tour again in a heartbeat. I've said it time and time again. I would live in Japan. There's so much to see, so much to do, and so much fun.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Have you been in the shipyards with the Mustang over there?
Yes, we did a dry dock availability.
They say the shipyards over there are unbelievably good, way better than Norfolk,
bro,
or Portsmouth.
We all know. We all know what the magic bottles inside the racks are, or inside the angle irons are, that get left from the shipyarders, or all the dirt and dust. Like it's just like that one, bro. Those guys work. They work efficiently and effectively. They get on. They fix your stuff right the first time. They don't mess around. And they're super respectful. It's not the headache you and I would have as soon as we pull in from anywhere, where you got to have 18 different peoples with 5 different tag outs per one. They are literally in a line waiting outside for everybody to be done mooring, getting all the power and everything hooked up. They walk on orderly. They talk to you nicely. Hey, we need to tag this out so that we can get this job accomplished. Yada, yada, yada. And it's just so smooth. Like there's nothing else like it. It's something
The
completely
mindset over there is way different from that. You go in the shipyard, you probably been drinking the night before, smell like weed.
I remember. I think it's what are they called now? It used to be North Shipco, but God, I can't remember what their name is now.
BAE.
Think of it later.
BAE.
BAE.
Yeah.
Yep. So we used to park in that dirt lot that they had to move you in.
Yeah.
You'd be kicking bottles over. This was lunchtime. Come on, boys. Look, what the heck?
They was out there. One who was over there at Norfolk Shipyard. They was out there fighting. They had like a circle. They was out there fighting like Street Fighter. I'm like, God damn.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the shipyard. And these the guys that come to work on our ships.
Yeah, man. Oh,
So
it was
how
crazy.
long did you do over there? How long did you do on the Mustang?
So I did 3 years over there.
Okay.
And then and so the way that they work, overseas duty and stateside duty is a little different for your seashore rotation. For over there, if you go unaccompanied, it's a 2-year tour. If you go over accompanied, it's a 3-year tour. And at that point in time, I know you remember this. They were, I forget what the title of it was, but they were giving you extra money per month if you stayed over there as an incentive. Like even to go over there, I was getting it. It was an incentive pay because they needed second classes over there. So I was like, pay me the extra money, and sea duty is sea duty, man. You know. And I almost stayed over there, but I was like, I just picked up first class. I want to get back stateside because I was with a different woman because I had gone through a divorce while I was there, and I ended up getting remarried to a different girl, and I was like, let me get back stateside. So I went to the Forrest Sherman out of Norfolk.
Did you
and
choose
I'll tell you what.
Did you choose the faux show, or they?
I picked the faux show.
Okay.
Because I always joke, I got a little dyslexic because the Mustang is 89.
Yeah.
Faux show 98, man. So
when you go up, you get a little better.
Yeah, that was my rule. This comes into play later on, in the career. My rule was to always go up in numbers so that you get a better boat. So I'll never forget checking on to the Forrest Sherman. And literally you were standing there and you're like, hey, give me your record. Give me page 4 or whatever it is, all your quals. And I was in Central talking to you, Chief E. Who was the other one that was there? There was a couple other cats, and there was an award ceremony about to happen. Like, I'll never forget this. This is legit. McSwain was on duty in CCS on watch, and she wanted to be at the award ceremony. You walked in and you're like, "Hey, everything's crossed over. You're good to go. All your quals are done." Because I was EL qualled on the Mustang.
Yeah.
And I was like, "So what do you want?" He's like, "You're just got to requal with the captain for EL, but everything's done. You're all good." Oh, cool. And McSwain looked at you and was like, "Can he cover the watch while I go out to the award ceremony?" Like, this is hour one.
He just checked on board.
And you're like, it's up to him. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. So it ain't no big deal. It's Central.
Yeah.
She rolled out, but I'll never forget looking to the left and looking at the console and going, all right, those phones are a little different. I had to learn that real fast. But other than that, it was easy. We just, like you said, checked on board. I was pretty much a 1-year first class there.
Yeah.
And just to be honest, you couldn't have asked for a better tag team. I know I'm going to brag about myself, but honestly, Miller was what helped me. I don't even know if I helped him, to be honest, but between the two of us running the engine rooms and the oil lab, dude, it seemed so easy, like just rocking and roll, knocking things out. Because I don't remember if Ken was there, Ken Bristow, when I first checked on board, or if he came after me. Because it was Chief E, you, and I don't remember if there was a GSMC or not. So yeah, Oil King for life, Amber. But yeah, it seemed like it was super easy to rock and roll. And to be honest, people like Amber, people like Miss Swain, Lee, all of them cats made it easy. Like, they didn't really argue with you.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't have asked for a better group of sailors that would just look at their leaders and go, they're probably right.
I'm telling you, Hirsch, it was like heaven with him and Miller there. It was like heaven. I ain't never experienced nothing like that before. I was like, this
Easy
is
day.
this can't be true right here. I mean, the division was running freaking smoothly. Everything was going as planned. I didn't even have to worry about them. I
Yeah.
didn't have to worry about them at all. It was awesome.
It was so, and having Kenny, oh my God, Kenny Miller he's my shout out at the end, no lie.
Yeah.
Um,
I rank him
walking
in my top 5 technically smart GSs I ever worked with. 24 years, top 5.
walking tech manual. I'll never forget. I woke him up one night out of his sleep, like, "Hey man, I got this. I can't remember what it was about, but it was something dumb." And he was like, "I swear to God, his eyes were still shut. Check this, this, and this, and if it doesn't come up with that, let me know." Like, he could answer stuff in his sleep. He was
Yeah,
that
man.
good. Like, oh my God. So yeah, man, it's faux show.
Would you say that was like one of your most successful, stretches?
I would say that no, that was the best. That was the highlight of my career, honestly, right there. Um, and I really wanted Kenny to make Chief there with me.
Oh
I
yeah,
was,
man. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you and Ken came to me. I'll never forget this. I was the EDO when Chief results came out. Everybody else over there hitting, F11 or F7, whatever number it is to refresh, um, on the computer, trying to find out if they made Chief. I'm authorizing tags. And it was bass. I was doing something for fresh water. I'll
Yeah.
never forget. And you're like, you sent the message, "Hey, congratulations, brother," on my cell phone because we're in the yards at BAE,
Hmm.
and I'm like, "You must mean Miller. You got Nickerson messed up." And I threw it to the side, and the next thing I know, you and Ken were standing there, and I was like, "Oh, you real? Like, you're for real?" He's like, "Yeah, I need you to come with me," and I was like, "But I'm doing a tag out." You're like, "Finish that and come with me." And I was like, "Oh boy." And I think Nick Mason had to cover down for
Yeah,
me the rest of
yeah,
that
yeah.
afternoon and I was still in shock. I was like, "You got to be kidding me. Like, this is my
Yeah, that
first
look on your
time up.
face. It's like,
Like,
what? 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 I made it?
my first time up. I'm
That
going to
was
make,
awesome. That was awesome right there. That look on your face. You was like, hey, well, I
oh,
didn't make no Chief.
I make
That's the
Chief.
best right there. That's the best.
So,
The
yep.
parking lot.
So you snatched me up and then I still to this day, like, how did that happen? So yeah, Forrest Sherman was definitely. I mean, season was rough. I mean, real rough because we were that first season of all the change.
Yeah.
But dude, and then I put on Chief, and then I'd found out the day before that I got my orders to my next duty
Yeah.
station.
Yeah,
So
Quan. That's when
before I found out I made Chief.
that's what Hirsch. That's when I said, Miller didn't make Chief. Miller wanted his orders. Miller decided, hey, they ain't giving me orders. I'm getting out. Oh,
Oh man,
that hurt my heart. Then he
Oh,
made Chief. I was like, I was happy for him, but I was like, God damn, they go take him off the ship. And sure enough, he got his orders. He was gone. That's when we took a. That's when it was like a nosedive. When those two left, it was like a nosedive on the first term. Oh my God, man, that was
yeah,
crazy.
because I can't remember if Kenny left like a week or two before or after me. But I remember because I remember we were all fighting for Kenny because Marmac, the MGTI guys, were ready to pay for his school to
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
MGTI.
Master Chief
This should
Horn
tell you something that
came
the
over
Navy.
there, and I was like, I went up there, and I was like, yo, just extend the dude. Not you give him the orders. He gonna be here for a couple more years. We got another strong first class. We ain't gonna have no first classes. And then they still wouldn't give this dude no orders and stuff. I can believe that. And then
Yep.
we up there in the damn LOA inspection was like, oh, we can't do your inspection. You don't even got no first classes. Well, you think you the one who said you didn't want to give him the freaking orders. I'm
right?
like,
Mhm.
God, man.
Yep. Yep. No, they should have let him go to MGTI school, and things would have been just easy peasy. But
Way easier.
I remember the CO telling you, like, if I send him over there to the school, they're gonna steal him from us. And it's like, no, dude, they're gonna keep him on here until he makes chief. Then they're gonna steal him,
Yeah.
because it's a requirement to be chief to even get into the school. But they were
Yeah.
ready to pay for him and let him go as a first class to the school. Like,
Dude was smart. That's
you have a textbook person right there that's perfect for this job.
yeah, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Then
sorry.
you get your orders off for
Yep.
Sherman.
Yeah.
And then
So I made chief, and
yeah.
then I put on chief, and then 2 weeks after I put on chief, I was rolling to Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, Kittery, Maine. So I felt so bad because you were looking at me like, can you stay? Can you please stay? I don't have any first classes. I don't
Boy,
have a
we
chief.
hurt. We was hurting, boy. I mean,
Yeah,
everybody was just bounced. Rivera Diaz, goddamn. I mean, everybody was just, the team. You had this perfect team that you try
yeah,
to keep together, and then everybody just stopped, dropping like flies. Leaving, transferring, and then
yeah,
we
man.
just
It
damn.
was
It was good.
uh
It was like bad. They got. I
I
mean, it got bad.
because I think you had Nick Mason, who was the EMC,
Yeah,
take over as the acting chief in
yeah.
MP division
MP
because
division.
didn't
Had
have it.
had EMs had Chiefs Leg Minx
Yep.
take over for A Gang. Oh
Oh
man, I
God,
mean it
it
was
was
all over the place, man. Then we got
yeah,
with Brianna
yep,
left us. We got it's like damn we I was like man we should have just kept Brianna and just sent that dude someplace. Oh man, we got railroaded with that one. We
yep,
got
and it was,
railroaded. Oh
but we
man,
were
it's just a chain of events that went bad.
yeah. Well, it was crazy because and part of the duty. I'll never forget this. This is one of the things that you had asked me to talk about.
Yeah.
Um, we were gone almost all of 2012.
Yeah,
Like I
man.
joked that there was a movie about 2012 because there really was, but it
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
like we lived that. Like it was just a hurricane all the time. Because we got underway in I think it was March
yeah.
of 2012 or something like that,
Mhm.
for Joint Warrior.
Yep.
And man, bro, I never stood as long a watch as I did with you ever.
That
Ever.
Hirsch,
It
I
was
think we did every evolution on that watch you could possibly think of.
we did a pulling into port, pulling out the port, drills, pulling back into port, pulling back out of port, because we would have to go in and get these guys, the inspectors for Faust, was it?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
Foss.
white coveralls. You're like, what? And these cats don't play around. I was so angry with them that they would flood out my engine room, spray every controller with salt water. I'm like down there having a heart attack. Like I had this place clean with all my guys ready to rock and roll for an inspection, and here you are flooding it out to play a drill.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let me tell you something, Hirsch. We talk about we're the greatest navy in the world. Let me tell you something. Them British sailors, man, if they train like this, I mean, like we we got them some bad dudes, man. The way they train.
yeah,
I mean, they shutting down AC plants to the point where the CEO calling out, man, you got to tell them to turn that back on, man. We burning up combat. We burning
yeah,
up combat. They doing some, I mean, they just taking the shit down. It got so bad during FOSS when we was on, when we was doing the drills, because it was you on the pack, I was the EL, and E was on the dang the FC. That first drill, Chang sat in that chair and basically, I mean, he zoned out because it was almost like it was real. I mean, he zoned out. You know,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Moyer. Lieutenant Moyer was the DCA.
That
Lieutenant
boy.
Moyer said, they say, what you want to do, Chang? And Lieutenant Moyer was like, he ain't with us. He gone. I mean, like, come on, man. This dude he had checked
Oh,
out. He checked out.
Man,
He just sat in that chair, almost like he just sat in that chair and he was
lost soul,
zoned out, man. And he even
bro.
admitted to the CO that he checked out. He checked out. But that's how intense that Force drills was, man. I guarantee you,
oh,
after Force, he's probably the baddest ship on the waterfront when it comes to drills, man.
yeah. Oh, dude. I never wanted to drill again.
Yeah,
Ever.
yeah.
I
I
was just
mean,
like, what are you doing?
every evolution we was on watch, and then I
Yeah.
think we had a Class Charlie Fire in the back
Yeah,
because I
yeah, we
remember
did.
you
It was
said
back in laundry.
What?
It
you
was
was telling me
laundry.
if you hadn't freaking, basically I was gonna blow off this alarm, Hirsch. I was gonna blow this alarm off. But he kept telling me, hey, you need to check that
It
alarm
was
right there.
it was ship's laundry. I'll never forget this. I can't remember the name of the guy. But he was the Asian cat electrician, and he had the deep accent.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yo, senior, top, we need to check this alarm out. It ain't gone off just once. It's gone off like 2 times, and I don't trust it. Like there was something in my gut that was going, send it. And he came back over that radio, and I swear to God, it was in Chinese at first. And the only thing we understand was fire laundry. That was it. And the next thing you know, we're ringing bells. Oh my gosh, that day. And I don't even know when we ate.
Yeah,
I know they brought food scraps to us every time, but like
man.
we were just
Oh gosh.
like how is this? How are we supposed to maintain this? And then we're on water hours because we can't make water
Yeah.
because we're going in and out of port. Oh
Oh man. That was a watch from hell right there. 24
yeah,
hours. And that's
yeah,
crazy. That is insane. You're doing every evolution. They expect you to be freaking tip-top shape through the whole day. I mean, that was crazy. That was a crazy watch right there.
oh
Sounds
yeah,
good. Bro.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
man.
Yeah, we made it through. Good Lord have mercy. So you
Yep,
transfer off the faux show.
yep,
Transfer off the faux show, you go to naval, you go to this up in Maine to the naval shipyard with Stegman.
yeah, man. So Stegman was my sponsor getting here. He took that easy duty right there because he knew that I knew the area.
Yeah.
But the funny part, we'll back that real quick. Stegman was our electrician's mate on the
Yeah.
Forrest Sherman, and
Shout
he
out to
came to me.
Stegman.
Yeah, man. He's a chief now. He's a chief.
Oh, thank God.
Yep. Well, you talk to him. I'll let you talk to him one day.
I
he
gotta
came
track
to
him
me
down.
while we're underway.
Oh, Nickerson, you cut out, man.
I think my screen is frozen. It's been frozen for a while.
Go back out and come back in, Nickerson.
Is my screen frozen to you?
Yeah, you got this you got this face on.
I don't know why.
Oh man. You got this frozen face.
And it won't change. I've been trying to figure it out. It's just stuck. I'm gonna try to do the same thing. I'm gonna try to see if it'll let me do it without restarting.
Okay. Got a little bit of technical difficulties, people. Hey, come. Hey, back. All right.
My bad. I don't know if it was me or what. Up here in good old Maine or New Hampshire. Might as well say dial up still. So real quick, Stegman came to me and asked if there was a place here. Yep, there is. And then it was less than a year, and I got the orders to come up here, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And that was the time when I just made chief. So I come up to the shipyard, and I'll tell you what, man, this was gravy duty.
Yeah, man. Gosh.
They sent a chief still, chief select first class on the books technically,
Mhm.
to a second class billet.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, so um, what we do up here is, move submarines around when it's time, and you're working with civilians hand in hand.
Mhm.
So I had a fellow bosun's mate, Chief. I'm not gonna say anything because, well, I'm just gonna leave it at that. So my job was to try and maintain some peace and tranquility between him and the civilians.
Yeah. Oh,
So
one of those. One of
yeah,
those. Okay.
so I had 7 sailors, I think it was total.
Uh-huh.
Steggy and like 2 other engineers. So they would kind of split engineers and the bosun's mates, but it was real cake. Honestly, most days I was home by 1 o'clock at the latest, rolling in 7:30, making sure paperwork was done, quals were caught up, and PT was done. And I'm one of those, because that was the time when they were ramping up on PT, uh, and I, PT ain't the same for everybody. Like, the girl might want to do yoga, and the guy might want to do gymnastics. I don't know anymore. And at that time, uh, I was lifting weights, and it was kind of a joke because a couple of my guys were like, "You can't bench press the hundreds or whatever, dumbbells," and we'd
Yeah.
make it a challenge back and forth inside there. So it was good, and it was small, kind of tight knit, and it's a real good community up here. I can't complain about it at all. And I worked hand in hand with the SEER school, the clinic up here, all the submarines. The challenges, though, that I got were the things that people don't think about. I ended up being the command simio.
Of course.
Uh,
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
was a battle all its own. And when you have separate commands having separate issues that you're trying to work in between them, it's a challenge. And
Mhm.
then the hardest job that I've ever had, I was the CACO, the Casualty Assistance Calls Officer. So my job was to get in the blues and go tell a family with chat.
Oh,
Yep. So,
you
you
ever had to
know,
do that?
yeah, I had to do it. I did it. Well, one was a bedside, so the wife already knew.
Mhm.
One was a young man got married on a Sunday, and he left up here, and he had a single car accident um, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So I had to go with the chaps and go tell the mother and the father, who ran a small daycare, that their son had passed away, and that
Oh
now
man.
their new daughter-in-law is in the hospital down there with multiple injuries. I mean, injuries on top of injuries. He was in there for months.
Damn.
So yeah, and then I had to assist in another one because it was an officer candidate,
Mhm.
and he decided that things were too stressful. So we'll put it at that.
Oh man.
But dude, those were the most challenging duties that I could ever have imagined having.
Whew.
But you get to work with the community a lot, and you learn a few different things.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Oh
So
wow.
yeah, yeah. So then I rolled from here up in Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, Kittery, Maine. Um, I was going to pre-com, the USS Paul Ignatius 117,
Okay.
and in that process, um, I don't remember if I think Van Hamel was on our boat, but I can't remember. He was on one of them,
Mhm.
and he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, man, you're pre-common the Paul Ignatius," and I was like, "Yep." And he's like, "And you're buying a house in Norfolk?" And I was like, "Yeah, they're gonna be home ported in Norfolk." He's like, "No, it's gonna be home ported in Mayport." I was like, "No, they already told me it's gonna be guaranteed here." Blah 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 blah. And he's like, "Bro, I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen. I got people in Washington. It's not going there."
Oh
Well,
man.
I was already signing the paperwork to buy a house. It's already
Oh man.
done, you know. So I get there. I wasn't there like 3 months. We get the letter, home port shift. Like the boat's not even built yet. It's in Pascagoula. So I start talking to people. talking to the CMC, like, yo, this is gonna financially kill me. They let me shift from the Polygnacious pre-com to the Delbert D. Black pre-com.
Mhm.
And I was like, perfect. It's gonna be in Norfolk.
Yeah.
Nah. Same thing was played out. They did a letter later on and shifted them to Mayport.
Oh
in that,
gosh.
yeah.
Yeah, dang.
So the first boat I was going to be the 3MC. So I got a 3MC school ready to rock and roll because pre-com, all you're doing is going to schools and mustering people. That's
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
So I've gone from, really hard with the Forrest Sherman to the shipyard really relaxed to this pre-com really relaxed. All right, cool. This is easy duty. And I'll never forget sitting there with my top snipe for the Delbert D Black because I was going there as the GSMC, and I was like, yo, teach me some stuff, teach me what you want, how you want me to run things, give me the extra insight because, mind you, I was only a chief on the ship for 2 weeks
Mhm.
prior to shore duty and then shore duty and pre-com. So I sat in the pre-com unit for a year and change, I
Yeah.
think it was. And I'm talking to my top snipe on the Delbert D, or the soon-to-be top snipe. And he was a GSCC back in the day. I was like, yo, how many years you got in, bro? And he's like, 10. What? 10? He's like, yeah. Like, you're a senior chief, and I'm a chief with like, I don't know, since like 2017, or whatever
be
it
like
was.
that. Yeah, it'd be like that
2016, like,
sometimes.
what am I messing up here? And he's like, well, if you put it in a package. And I hadn't put it in a package yet for senior because I was just like, they won't pick me up anyways. So I put a
thought the
package
same thing
in.
too. I thought the same thing too.
Put a package in, and what happens?
You make senior.
You make senior. All right. Well, this is cool. Now you got another, senior chief in the department. Hey, mind you're still
New order.
pre-com.
No,
The
you
NHTSA
done.
calls and they're like, yo, we need some people to help. They're calling Desron. So Desron calls us like, hey, you got some sailors that need to go out. I know you got a senior chief over there. Nickerson, I think his name is, the command heard. Can you send him out to help out? I was like, you got to be kidding.
To
So at
help
that
that
time,
mean
I'm
transfer.
well, no, it gets nasty in this part. I'm supposed to. They wanted me to get underway with them on a Friday, and I was like, no, I'm not missing because I was getting a cortisone shot from my left shoulder that was injured. So I was like, I have a shot that I'm supposed to get Monday morning, and then I can go. You get me out there however you want. I don't care. So I'm a senior chief at a pre-com unit. You do and you don't have any real power over us. It's weird being pre-com. So the Desron finally agreed. They're like, all right, we'll get you underway on a carrier after you get your shot. So I get my shot. Everything goes well. I get on the Abraham Lincoln, a GS on a carrier. Woo-wee!
Unique.
Bro, that mess is the size of the Chiefs mess, the mess decks, and the wardroom.
The
All
flight
in one cheese fest. It's huge. I got lost on that thing, and I was there for like 4 days.
Oh man.
What was his name? Now I'm gonna forget it. He was the Master Chief, Jones, Corey.
Yeah.
He was the Desron, so he was showing me around,
Mhm.
and everything. So I'm there for like 2 days, maybe 3, I can't remember. And then they're like, "All right, your helo's coming tomorrow morning. You get on that, and then you're gonna go over to the NHTSA." What they didn't tell me was it was going to be like a 6-hour helo flight and hit every single deck in that party that was going on.
Oh God.
It was cool. It was cool, except for if we ever know anything about those SH-60 Bravos that are
Flying on
modified,
helicopters, man.
water just dripping on me the whole time. It was just condensation. And they're like, if it stops, we got a bigger problem. I was like, oh, thanks. So they helo me out to this boat. We're down in Florida doing ops. It's hot as heck. I haven't, I got a sea bag. That's it. So I'm rolling with it, figuring it out, and I meet the top snipe there. cool dude, no issues that I know of.
Mhm.
And they're like, hey, we're going to have you stand this watch, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right, hand them all my records and everything. And they're like, yeah, never mind. They came back and said, you're not going to stand watch. So what am I here for? Well, we'll figure that out. You just flew me half across the states, basically to get out here. 2 days later, they're supposed to be, they're in their inspection phase, mind you. Now I can't even think of the name of the inspectors. They're coming out. And this is our regular ones over there. For Mobby, Mob D, all those guys.
Yeah.
Not in-serve. What are those guys called? I can't even think of it right now.
ATG.
ATG. Thank you. My brain's not working. So the day before ATG comes on board, Top falls down the ladder well, the vertical ladder well going to Shaft Alley. And I mean, it's bad.
Damn.
Like bad. He gets up there, nobody knew what was going on, and the watch should have gone down there during this time frame, mind you. So I knew that was a problem right off the bat because he came up and he's barely moving to medical, and there's visuals that you can see there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So the next morning we pull up alongside a tugboat. He walks off the boat barely to the tug. ATG walks onto the boat. I'm called to the captain's cabin. Desron's there, MGTI, Joe Gonzalez, and the ship's captain, the Commodore. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. Not good for John right now.
No.
Sit down, senior chief. So there's Joe and I sitting on the captain's chair and whatnot. And he's like, look, he's your MGTI, and you're the only one qualified top snipe out here. I need you to be the acting top snipe.
Of course.
All right, fine. I'll get you through this inspection. I've done this before. We'll put on the old rodeo hat and we'll ride this thing out. What I didn't know was that they were going to try and force transfer me during this underway.
I knew it. Yeah. That's why I said at the beginning. I knew. I was like, oh, help. Oh, no, they could try to transfer you. I knew it.
So apparently Top wasn't supposed to get underway at all, the other one. Because he had serious back injuries, but he just got underway. And I'm like, how did medical not say something?
Back injuries. Ken Bristow, everybody got a goddamn back injury.
Ken had that chronic cough, man, and I felt bad. Poor guy, always coughing.
Yeah.
Anyways, so he leaves the day ATG comes on, right? Same boat. ATG tells the captain he can't be drilling. He's not part of your command.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, can I have any play in this at all? They're like, no. You literally have to sit in the office, and you can't be drilling. You can't be doing anything. You can't be guiding them. I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. What's the point of me being out here acting top snipe even if I can't be a help?
Yeah, it's a waste of time.
Thank you. I could have been at home with my wife chilling, mustering my guys. So finally they come back 3 days later. The Commodore is like, look, ATG, he's coming to the boat. I'm making it happen. In the background, I didn't know this. The XO, who was also the acting CEO at the time for the pre-com unit, was the mentee of the Commodore. So the Commodore was his mentor. Yeah. So they like that. 2 peas in a pod. They're like, I'll get him to you. I'll transfer him to you. Bro, I sat TAD to that boat for over 6 months. Getting through inspection cycle, and it was the worst inspection cycle that I could have ever had.
Of course.
We didn't pass. They had already failed several times prior. And then the CEO or the team of ATG kept changing. And I was like, look, I'm a new cat here, and I've already seen 3 different ATG teams, and each one wants something slightly different.
Yeah.
You can't test that way. No one's going to be able to pass a test. So finally we passed that thing, and they got out to deployment. But I finally got my orders. In fact, right after my daughter was born, like I checked out of the hospital with my daughter, and they were getting ready for Mob D or whatever it was, like the next week. And then Chang was like, "Yo, you're getting underway, right?" And I'm like, "I just had a kid with my wife, like,
Man.
come on." So, yeah. So, anyways, I got underway for that, and that was just bad. But we finally got through that, getting ready for deployment. There was some BS that happened. I ain't gonna get into it. But my shoulder was shot at the time. Like I had said at the beginning, I needed shoulder surgery. And I'll wait till after deployment. I was done. I was like, I'm getting off this boat. Nobody's gonna let me transfer or do my shoulder surgery repair. As we have seen, the trend is they're going to transfer me somewhere or wherever the Navy needs.
Oh yeah,
and they're not going to take care of John, and John needs to take care of John.
Prostitute out to the highest. Who needs to see you?
Not even the highest, man. You get the lowest bidder. Like it's always the lowest bidder because, mind you, my plan was always to go up in numbers for hulls, and then I'm back down on 94. And that thing, the NHTSA had a different name. It was called Cell Block 94 by several of the people, because it had a rap. So I left out of there for my shoulder surgery and went to Marmac. And then after Marmac, Marmac literally was just me there for physical therapy, like literally. I spent 3 days a week in physical therapy for my shoulder, on and off, going to Portsmouth. I was jacked up.
That ain't fun.
No, that was the worst. And then at the end of that, I can't even say the end. I went there in April. I think it was April of 19. I had my surgery, and then 2020, limb due for that whole time. And then 2020 happened. We all know what happened in 2020. Well, the Navy, in its infinite wisdom, said, medical Navy was like, "Yeah, you're at about 80% back to normal. You'll continue on your own. We're not seeing anybody for physical therapy or anything else unless it's an emergency." All right, the world's doing what it's doing. I get it. But I still have a shoulder injury. I couldn't, at that time, I couldn't get it like to here. I don't even know if I can show it like real well. Now, after my second shoulder injury on my right side, I can reach back and whatnot, but I couldn't move it. So I was having pain constantly. I was like, how am I going to do push-ups? And at that time, we were going to planks instead of sit-ups. Right. Like, this doesn't make sense. And they're like, well, we're going to send you as a top snipe to here. And I was like, I can't physically maintain what I'm supposed to for junior sailors to see.
They send you up
and be a leader. I'm injured. So, yep. So they put me fit for full duty for retirement purposes only. So I retired at the end of.
Had you already put in the package, or did you say I'm going to retire?
Well, here's the if you'd ever been on limb due before, you can't do anything. You can't do any status changes. You can't put in any requests to have anything happen unless it's a medical retirement. That's the only one. And they initiate that. You got to go through boards on boards on boards. And I was like, yo, I'd be sitting here for days. They're like, we'll put you fit for full duty. You'll submit your stuff right then and there. And then, you should be good. Well, the GS detailer didn't see the note at all in there, and they were trying to send me to a boat.
He just saw fit for full duty.
Yep, that's all he saw. I need you over here. And I was like, whoa. In fact, I think it was no, the Fitzgerald was when I was getting ready, when I just picked up CD.
Damn, he froze again, Nickerson. He ain't right. He right. He got dang wait, he got dial up. You said he had dial up, Hirsch.
You got some Starlink.
Man, my internet.
My camera's messing up.
Yeah, man, my internet must be slacking today. So yeah, they were trying to send me out to who knows where at the time, and I was like, "Yo, I'm only for retirement purposes." Finally, I had to have the doctors call them and be like, "Yeah, this is it. He's done. Like he's not going to be able to be, you know, what we're supposed to do as senior people, lead and set the example, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
how is he going to say, oh, you need to go PT when he's only able to do 1/3 of the workout? Like, so that's when I was like, it's
So,
time. It's time.
John, so okay, you said when did you make up in your mind that you said, "Hey, I need to retire"?
Oh, dude, during that limb do, that was there was a lot of movements going on. We'll say that
Mhm.
in the world,
Yeah,
the Navy has changed so much.
yeah. Remember you talking
From
about that, Hirsch? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Go ahead. It's changed. It changed.
yeah, man, like
Most of the ships are minimum man, aren't they? It's
Man,
ridiculous how the man they give you.
you get
They
half of
ain't
what you
giving you
need.
no.
I'll
Jesus.
never forget when I was the top snipe. One of the girls came to me and was like, "Hey, I'm pregnant." Son of a biscuit. All right. Well, let me get you to medical, blah, 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 blah. Well, hold on, senior. All right. What's up? I don't want to have it. Oh, uh, I don't know what to do now.
Yeah, yeah, he go.
Yeah,
I,
I'd
see,
be like, the first place I go right to the master chief. Hey, hey.
yep. That was the first thing. I was like, I dropped her off at medical. I went to
Yeah.
CMC. Like, hey, so and so, X, Y, and Z. And the next thing out of that was, oh, we need to have a mask. I know who she's dating. I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding
Oh,
me, dude. Come on now. This girl gonna
snowball,
have all this other issues.
snowball,
He
snowball.
It didn't happen, thank God. But I was just like, oh, come on, you can't do that to people. Like, and that's our brothers and sisters. You know, you're just like, come on, think about what they actually have to go through.
the big
Uh,
picture.
yeah, like this is already hard enough. You know, and I had, you're undermanned, you're overworked. Like you and I were talking a little bit before we came on. Like, you kind of got to shut yourself down from the rest of the people because you're afraid to say anything.
Anything.
You can't say anything wrong in front of the junior
Yeah.
people. Wrong thing said. Yep. Oh, we got to write him up. We got to write this down. We got to, it's like, come on
Yeah, they
now.
keeping the book on you, waiting, waiting to get you.
Yeah.
Like,
You're just like, look, I'm just trying to get the job done around here. I'm part of the hardest thing. You guys all know this. Damn coveralls. These fire retardant coveralls, they rip when you look at
yeah, yeah, they
them. And
weak. I'm
you,
like
you know what
they
I'm
like paper
saying?
thin, man.
And I'm over here like trying to correct sailors, guys and girls. Like, hey, go get new coveralls. I don't want to. You are unsafe to be in the engine room right now. Like, you got holes all through every area, and that's how I'm gonna leave it. Like, no, it's not fitting you. You're tearing through it. So it has changed so much from where you could tell a sailor, hey, do X, Y, and Z, and A, they trusted you, and B, they did what they were supposed to do. It's so different. And I think that the NHTSA, just the mentality, the way that everything went, and I was like, man, I went from up here, like riding, like you couldn't have said Cloud 9 any better than the Forrest Sherman. Like literally, the whole team worked together, and
Yeah.
we got
And
things done, and it was just smooth, smooth. Oh, I miss it. I miss that boat. I won't lie.
yeah, man, it was the same thing with Brianna Witherspoon. She went from basically Cloud 9 on the post show, and they threw her into the shit. I mean, like, oh my god. I mean, if you want to see something, you went from Cloud 9 to craziness. Is her story? That's crazy. Boyton as well too. I'm like, god damn, you got Chief stabbing Chiefs in the back now. I'm like,
Yep.
Jesus
Mhm.
Christ, this is crazy.
Yeah.
It's and
Yeah, man.
it's going, it's getting worse, and that's the thing. I'm like, I can't believe this is the chief mess that Boyton was telling me. I mean, like they was out to
Yep.
get him over a damn tag out, over a freaking
Yep.
tag out.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
But one
It's
time
crazy.
I remember now you are a very respected and influential shipmate. Yeah, I don't know if you knew that. I mean, I spoke with Teresa King. She brought you up. I'm like, Nickerson. He's like, yeah, Nickerson was one that kept me going with my degree. He's one of the reasons I got my degree. I'm like, God damn, boy. Coleman brought your name up. I mean, you touched a lot of people. All right. Now, why do you think you leave such a great impression on people?
uh, Bro, you asked that question and I wrote it down and I read it to my wife. And she was like, geez. And I was like, I don't know. Um, I, I just tried to treat everybody equally and I try to, I guess we all have our goals. And
Yeah.
if we had our mindset to something, we needed to work on it and get it done. Um, and it was just one of those things where I just wanted to get the job done, but at the same time have fun doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I've always tried to say that like if you're not having fun while you're with people, then what are we doing? Like
Yeah.
it's tough, and I'll never forget. I used to joke. Teresa's she's done a lot for me. That woman, she was awesome. I don't even know if you remember. I was living with her temporarily because I had moved, wife number two, uh, back
Oh, I
home,
know.
and I was living at Teresa's house when I made chief.
I
When I
remember
so
it was brought up. It was brought up in achievements. And now back in my mind, I'm like, what? I'm like,
yeah,
but yeah,
so
y'all was friends. Y'all was friends.
exactly
Real,
like
just real good
Teresa and
friends.
I, nothing but friends, and we actually met each other at hard times in our lives.
Hmm.
And she picked me up a lot, and I hope that I did the same for her. I mean, we still talk. I was chatting with her after I watched her video. So yeah, it's just one of those things that she took care of me, and I always try to take care of others. Um, we took basic algebra together, and I said when we did that, this was under that Joint Warrior FOST,
Yeah,
2012,
yeah.
always gone. I said, all right, we passed this class. Are we taking the next one? And she was like, well, if I sign up, you sign up, and I did. And I was like, all right, here we go. And then the incident happened for her,
Hmm.
and I'll never forget. I had to do some backyard deals, trying to get her to go to class, working, leadership and everything because we already signed up for a course, everything's paid for and whatnot,
Yeah.
and she's got her extra duty and this other BS, and everybody trying
Hmm.
to give her crap. And I was
Yeah.
like, look, I need her because she literally is a joke, DeNozo's my ass when I do something wrong. Like Gibbs, she'd hit me on the back of the head, like, you fool, you're doing this wrong. And like she kept me in line.
Yeah.
And I needed that for school. And I guess, just trying to treat each other, fairly on the boat was just like it just came naturally.
Mhm.
Um and I didn't think of myself as like superhero or anything. I looked up to Kenny. Like literally you and Kenny and E, oh my god. Like I couldn't imagine a better group of people to work with. It's just like I'm looking up to you guys. And that's just the truth. I just
Yeah,
tried to be
man. Because
me and take
your
care of
name comes up all the time. That's why I asked that question. Your name comes up, Nickerson, is like, man, so much people have so many good things and respect for you. And
Well, I
it's not like,
appreciate
oh, he's a dickhead. I mean, they truly respect you, and that's what I said at the beginning. I was like, man, when he checked on board, them two dynamic duo, you and Miller, I mean, like, y'all was awesome.
it.
And
Terrell, here's the other kicker too.
go
This
ahead.
part
Uh,
that Dee didn't tell you was so Kenny and I checked on almost the same time, probably less than a month apart.
Yeah.
And the CO was like, all right, we're gonna do a board for you guys together. We're gonna do an EL board together. Just just knock it out of the park. Your requals. Kenny's the walking tech manual
Of
and the
course.
gas turbine god.
Yeah.
Like he literally fits in that category. I'm your oil king. I can get you through anything. In fact, that's one thing we didn't say was, Daryl was looking for an oil king for deployment, and that's when I was like, all right, fine, I'll be the oil king, but you're doing every special evolution. So they did the two of us together for an EAL board. Man, if they didn't ask every electrical question or gas turbine drill to Kenny, and every oil king and any other question to me, you couldn't have drawn up a better picture for the two of us taking board. I mean, come on. It was great. It was great. So yeah. Oh, that's definitely that was like, yeah, this is the board to have right here.
Now,
Yeah.
I remember when we was on the ship, I remember you always used to say this. I remember you had underway classes and you said, I have to take care of me. How far have you come on your degree? Have you gotten your degree yet?
I have not gotten my degree. I was just taking classes. I started taking classes was it last winter? I think it was last winter when I started taking classes again. Because it's been hectic. And that's I should have done this while I was in the Navy. Anybody who's still in, knock it out like Amber did.
Yeah.
Do it while you are
Yes,
in.
Lord. Please get your damn degree. Let me tell you, if this is a liberal arts, just get your damn degree. They don't care.
Like,
They don't care.
so,
as long as you got the paperwork, you go be successful.
Exactly. And I regret not doing it while I was in.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling doing it. I just took the last half a semester off because I had shoulder surgery. I started my new job, and I was like, "Yo, I got to drop it because Granite State College and UNH, University of New Hampshire, kind of all joined. A bunch of them joined forces on the online University for New Hampshire. So they've collapsed the semesters down. But I am going to pick it up, not this next one, but for spring I'll be back at it, working on my business management degree. I think I have not 13. It's like 10 credits left or something like that. It's not much. A lot of our experience and everything crossed over.
Yeah.
So that's the good part on that.
Okay. Well, if you don't mind me, where are you working at now?
So right now I work at a command called SubMep. It's a submarine maintenance, engineering, planning, and procurement. Is the actual name. And I work. I'm a GS-12. Working there.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm an engineering technician. So what I can, and you can't say some things, you can say others. But the common joke is always like, yeah, we let a skimmer up in here to the submarine world. So I work on maintenance standards, which is a lot. It's for us, it's similar to tech manuals, but way more in depth. Like a lot of the testing and procedures and stuff on that. And I've only been there since September now.
Okay.
I was working with them / for them for 2 years and almost 3 now. Prior as a contractor for ICI, which is out of Virginia Beach, and I was working for the code that dealt with feedbacks from sailors. And then I left there because that boss, which I feel bad saying this, another brother, retired brother, just wasn't one to work for, and it's pretty well known. And I went to Huntington Ingalls and working actually on site at SubMep for a program that got shut down. Which I was very sad about. We were doing really well on it. I'd almost call it something along the lines of SCED or the tag out program. It incorporated a lot of different things, but they shut that program down. And when they did that, I got a little like, oh crud, what are we gonna do? And they kept us employed, because it's the yard contract, which is nice. But I knew that I wanted to go government because it's a little different. You get some more holidays, you get this.
Yeah.
I get a little better pay. But I was making great money, or I am making great money for not having a degree.
Oh yeah.
But when I did my interview and I told them that I was working on my degree, I'll tell you what, they started asking questions about that.
Mhm.
Because it's definitely something, like we said, get it while you're in.
Yeah.
Um, they look at that heavily at different locations.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
work in progress.
yeah, man. Always. Hey, you married now? How many kids you got now?
I am. This is my third wife. uh,
Yeah, you.
but
I'm like, damn, you trying to break my record, bro?
no, I'm done after this. I'm done. My wife Jennifer. I can't say enough about her. Right now she is taking care of my ass. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm in a sling. I just had shoulder surgery.
Mhm.
Jen and I have two crazy off the wall children. I mean, crazy. One, my daughter turns turns 5 on Tuesday, and then my son just turned 3 back in July.
Mhm.
So they're about 19 months apart. And we joked about writing a book about, two under two, and it was going to be a simple book. Just don't do it. I thought, I thought, and it was like I said, when we had our daughter, we had our daughter in 2018, and they got me underway the very next week.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's usual.
it changes you.
Yeah,
You don't
man.
realize. And I felt so bad being a senior leader, a very senior leader, and never really understanding all the challenges that like Amber and the younger mothers are going through until
Yeah.
I was a dad. Like, even the dads,
Mhm.
I didn't know all about that. So I felt like I was a complete jerk. So hearing me getting called out like as a superhero, as whatever, I'm like, man, I felt like I was the biggest jerk back then. Like, now I've learned more. So
Yeah, man. I know just like, they gotta manage the kids, they gotta take the kids. I mean, like Brianna Witherspoon, shout out to her again. I mean, she laid it down in her interview. I was like, God damn, you gotta do all that stuff. You gotta wake up that early to get them to child care, then get to
mhm.
work on time. And
Yeah, man.
you don't have any hair. I'm like, yeah, that's great. You're a superwoman. And you're in the Navy, you gotta deal with all this stuff. But
Yeah,
that's
man.
amazing what they got to do, and then you thinking like, damn, I'm underway, and I was like, damn, I'm missing all my kids, this
And
and that.
and poor Bree, man, she keep getting hit left and right. I don't know. That little one, bless them. Oh,
Oh
they've had
yeah,
some struggles. Woo.
oh yeah,
Mm,
for
it's a
real.
lot of
Shout
work.
out to Brianna, man. That's a lot of work out there. All right, but it's been great talking to you, and like I said, right now, our segment now we do is we got the shipmate shout out right now. So the floor is yours. Anybody you want to shout out, it's the floor is yours. Thank you. Hey, you're a jerk off. Whatever.
I won't call anybody a jerk off, but I will tell you this. For us, for you and I, that entire group that we had, shout out to all of you. That 2012 deployment, punishment, prison, whatever you want to call it. Man, if it wasn't for you guys, I probably wouldn't have made it through. And like I said, and Kenny, golly, that man, I love that man. I still think about him every single day. I talk to him every so often. He's down there with Kelly racing cars right now, getting hot
Pofo
and heavy.
Garage.
Yeah, man. And I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous of that garage, man. Um, and yeah, Kenny would be my go-to guy. Like literally, shout out to that man. If it wasn't for him, I don't know, man. I don't think I would have been as successful as I was. I think I was extremely lucky to be stationed with him and the whole crew, to be honest. And Frankie, bless his heart. I mean, he couldn't have given me more knowledge and caring. Somebody simple like that. You don't think about that. He was a senior chief. He retired,
Mhm.
and then when COVID hit, he passed. Man, I love that dude. I I really did love that dude. I miss him. And when I got that news, it hurt. Like it hurt. It was rough.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to former GSM1 Kenneth Miller, man. I mean, that's a, like I said, he's in my top 5. I got a top 5, that I always say just some of the most technically smart people. Like Hirsch, when I was saying, it's just like people that just came into the Navy that you thought they were just born in the Navy
Awesome.
or the rate
Yeah.
they was in, they just so goddamn smart. Like, goddamn, was you doing this shit before you came in?
Built the Navy.
I was like, I ain't even half as smart as you, not even a quarter
Yep.
smart as you. And I'm still trying to figure out what a supply and scavenge filter at, buddy.
Right? Where is that bad boy at? Oh man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Shout out to
man.
Kenny.
Shout out to Kenny, man. But yeah, man, that crew from the Forrest Sherman. Like I said, when Kenneth Miller left, you made chief and you transferred. All those chiefs just sat there and we looked at each other and then we said, I was like, y'all know we going to, we going to hell, right?
I'm sorry, brother.
them two left. I heard church. I said them two left right there, boy.
Left
The
you all
honeymoon
alone.
was over. The honeymoon was over. It was over and shit.
Cloud nine.
None of man.
Oh,
You gotta get 3M call.
yeah.
Oh my
Jesus.
gosh. That was
Yeah, man.
insane, man. I mean, and you never know. Well, we knew how important they were, but we knew how important they were when they left us because they left.
Yeah.
They left a void. I mean, it just couldn't be filled. It just couldn't be filled. Even the other chief stepping in, it just wasn't the same with them two guys when they left. We had a rough time, and that's why I tell people out there, I'm like, trust, there might be some khakis out there, some chiefs or officers out there, but let me tell you something. Use the second, first, third classes, and that third classes I said that stepped up, like McSwain, Coleman, Agard, Bass. We needed third classes to get us through. and those the guys y'all mentored, y'all brought up. Those the guys that got us through. It wasn't the Chiefs. It wasn't the Chiefs. It was some third classes that stepped up that filled the roles as first classes for us. So that's why I tell you out there, man. Hey, you got the power. You got the power to do big things. And like
Right.
I said, and like when you go to a command, you make your mark, and when you leave, they gonna realize, be like, oh my God.
You messed up. You let me go. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, it's been great talking to you. That's like I was telling, if you heard at the beginning, I was like, the reason I do this is because these guys, these guys are my heroes right here. These the guys I serve with. We don't ever think about, we sailing in the combat zones through the damn Suez Canal, off the Eastern Med, and we don't. It's like a regular job to us, but damn, we in danger.
Yeah.
We in
about it.
danger.
Yeah, man.
These the guys that's my heroes. These the guys that I want to interview, and just get their perspective, chronicle their career. So it's online. So way in the future, somebody, one of your family, oh yeah, man, this my great grandfather, GCS Nickerson, he was in the Navy. Let's go look at the video, stuff like that.
Yeah, man.
But I really appreciate you coming on here and sharing with us and
No
chronicling your
problem, man.
career, sharing the good memories, sharing the bad memories. Most of them good
Oh,
though.
man.
Most of them good though. And
Yeah.
I wish you nothing but greater success. And like I said, once that stock market, once my stock hit, I tell you, I'm putting everybody on the list. Places I ain't never been. I ain't never been to New Hampshire before. So
Hey.
once like every summer, I told my wife, hey, every summer we go to a different state. I'm gonna give you a call. Hey, we gonna be out there such and such a time. Then We could go see the sights and everything. And that night we go out, have a little dinner, have a few little drinks and stuff like that, laugh about old times and shit,
Heck yeah.
and live life. That's what it's supposed to be like, having
Yeah.
fun, enjoying your shipmates, your friends, and whatnot. So again, man, thank you for coming on board.
Thank you.
And we really, like I said, I really appreciate. Oh my God, I really appreciated you when you checked on board that day. But it was awesome. It was great.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a pleasure working with you and serving with you guys. It was, like I said, that's my shout out right there. The whole crew, that boat, man, I loved it, and it was a good time. It was a good time.
Oh yeah, man, for real. All right, yeah, you got any last words there, Cohen? Hirsch?
No, it was a great intro, great story, good life experiences for all the listeners too. It was great.
Yeah, man. Yeah. All right, there, everybody. We're gonna give a shout out. That's a shout out for our shipmate, GSCS. Out. All right, John. Tell the wife, tell the kids. One day we gonna meet up. All right. You have a good life. Keep doing good things. Don't bust yourself up anymore. I'm tired of seeing you all.
We're working on that.
All right, everybody, from Snipes Castle Live, from me, Hirsch Terrell, Senior Chief Retired, GSCS, John Nickerson. Take it easy. Have a good Sunday. We see you next time. All right.
Hard work. That's what they say.
Hard work.